Today is April 30th, 2026. It is 5:06 a.m. This is video number 2. I went on a rant on my last video after I did a prayer, so let's continue. So I said I was gonna start with this. I didn't listen to it yet. Meghan was too much for them. They can't handle her intelligence, confidence, beauty, her being so outspoken and not scared to speak her mind. Thank God she's out of there and has husband that protects her. All right, so let's listen. It's almost 3 minutes. I'll try to enlarge the caption, whatever she's saying at the bottom. Let's listen. Hopefully I don't have anything to say, so I don't stop it. Most likely I will.
The sustained barrage of animosity toward Meghan Markle is not because she's a bad person. Time and again, her friends and colleagues come out on social media and assure us she's compassionate, capable, and honest. No one who knows her personally seems to have a bad word to say about her, except, it seems, the palace, through and in collusion with the British media. The royals are a codification of British culture, so something big and structural is going on here. Meghan isn't just an American actress who teamed up with the second in line, always the axis of vulnerability for a monarchy, to rock the boat.
Okay, the second in line, Harry have bumped further down because of William kids. The other thing as well, what we can learn to what they are doing to Meghan Markle is the same blueprint what they have done to black people in general around the world. Everywhere black people goes, there's always an animosity toward them out of nowhere. They don't even know if the person is good or bad. They either holding their bags, move away from them. There have been couple experiment that has been done where this guy, a black person, pretend to be blind and just walking with a cane and the sunglasses, and then try to hold somebody walking forward and see if the person will hold or guide him, the black person, blind black person. Almost everybody run away and like pushing him away, like get away from me. But when they do it with a white person, there's always someone to come and help. So this is the propaganda that the UK has done to black people in general. Everywhere black people goes, there's always an issue because of the way other people perceive them. Okay? So this is the blueprint that is being played right in front of us. So let's continue. So I correct 2 things she said here. Harry is not second in line anymore because of William children. And then with what I say about black people and the blueprint that the UK has started regarding black people, and let's continue.
She's a flashpoint in a battle to save the ancient patriarchy, not just the royal family, but the whole essence of what it signifies and stands on, ancient imperial power itself. Racist, sexist, theocratic, economically exploitative civilization. Yep, if this were a fairy tale, Meghan would be the Witch of the Windsors, the beautiful, troublesome foreign wife, convicted of obscure crimes, locked up in the tower, and then handed over to the people to satisfy their bloodlust after they rejected the adulteration of the tribe. Because to them, Meghan, and I say this with absolute respect for her as a person and as a woman of colour, Meghan represents the ascendance of a once enslaved race into the Royal Britannic bloodline. Shock?
There's a video that I did on PYTE where when I was looking into the, I guess the way the media in the UK was and about the newspaper, there's a part that says something like that. I'll put it. There it is. I'll try to squeeze it down to just the part that I'm thinking of.
When racism as such, as a philosophy, kicked in,
The anti-abolitionist Edward Long wrote,
The lower class women in England are remarkably fond of the blacks. In the course of a few generations more, the English blood will become so contaminated with this mixture as even to reach the middle and then the higher orders of the people. This is a venomous and dangerous ulcer that threatens to disperse its malignancy far and wide until every family catches infection from it.
All right, so let's continue.
Horror. For the sane amongst us, this can only be a good thing. Even the Queen, after a moment's wistful reluctance, embraced the just and inevitable and made a point of welcoming Meghan into the fold. But even a Queen can't prevent the media-led commodification of racial conflict and cultural upheaval playing out in her own family.
But the thing is that those newspapers, the magazines in the US, and many of them around Europe, they had a plan. They did not want that type of integration to be continued. They had a plan. I mean, their plan was always there. It's just that they were a little bit subtle with the way they were proceeding. So after President Obama came in power, and now you had Meghan married the prince. Okay, so they fast forward it. Okay, they fast forward their plan, and this is what we are seeing here. We are seeing the full display of all sort of negativity, as if they're promoting negativity. Pedophile, they want this to be the norm. To be barbaric against another, to be the norm. People who are doing evil things, they go unpunished. So is that the kind of world many of us want to live in? So this is a question where many of us have to ask, are we gonna follow it? Are we all into this type of behavior? Or we reject that kind of behavior and do what we need to do so we could protect our children? So this is the thing that is happening here. They are forcing the barbaric thing onto us, and we supposed to accept it. Are you gonna accept it, even though, despite the fact that they're forcing it down your throat? There's that saying, what state that said, live free or die, or something like that. Is it Connecticut? Or Vermont or something. Okay, it's New Hampshire. Live free or die. Okay, I would rather go with that motto. Live free or die. The state of New Hampshire. So this is the thing that is happening here. The devil wants us to live in a world where mistreatment of children, everywhere they go is just destruction, and be at free will to do whatever you want with anybody. It's like, what is that? So the royal family is literally displaying it for us as well. They dehumanize Meghan when she's a good person. It goes on and on. Let's continue.
If the domestic narrative of the royal family has a civic purpose, it's as a soap opera thrashing out issues of ethics, power and international relations at a personal level. But who's writing the script? Prince Harry's determination to write his own script is clearly something he inherited from his mother. Their passionate belief that the monarchy could be reformed, modernised, democratised might seem naive, even vain at this point, but the march of history is relentless. Britain, already so much reduced from its imperial prime, is regarded by many as at risk of collapse. If the British monarchy is to survive, it must do what it always has, adapt itself to the ideals of the times. Trouble is, Meghan Markle embodies one ideal while threatening another. I just hope she survives.
Oh, wow. Well, like I've said, I think in the previous video, with our prayers, okay, go to video 1 that I recorded today. I just did only one video so far, and this is the second one. I said, it's our prayers. When Harry and Meghan goes to different places, the people of the land who knows the capacity that Harry and Meghan possession, that they need those type of prayers to sustain them. And the squad, random prayers being thrown left and right. And Harry and Meghan have to open up, okay, to not only the environment, the belief of the higher being. All right, so let's see here. No lies detected. I will forever believe Meghan was the scapegoat to William's affair and still is. Fact. Okay, Meghan wants to be a star so bad. Oh, let's pause. Where does it start? Let's pause. What is it, Meghan? Who is Meghan? Who wants to be a star so bad and Hollywood doesn't like her? What are they talking about? She thought her prince could have... Okay, this is stupidity talking here. You could pause and read it, but there's no reason for me to continue. Okay, Meghan is intelligent, loving, and caring, doing better than you and your generation before meeting Harry, and still doing, and that's exactly why you are full of envy and jealousy, bullying, trolling, and harassing Harry and Meghan for doing nothing to you personally. Evil thing. Alright, so it's 1 minute and 22 seconds screenshot, okay?
She has been a One Young World counsellor since 2014 and a lifelong advocate for the rights of women and girls.
But hang on, this Hollywood starlet is a fiercely intelligent, independent woman who's forged a successful career in the cutthroat world of showbiz. She's a campaigner, a charity worker. She says stuff like Trump is a misogynist. Meghan Markle is no fluffy Sloane whose only aim in life is to marry well. She's a woman with a mind of her own.
Over many decades, there has been significant progress in advancing gender equality and attempts to eliminate discrimination against women. But there's still much more work to be done. Beyond the notion of it being a basic human right, there are, of course, huge socioeconomic ramifications as well. Meghan Markle is an actress who co-stars on the USA Network's legal drama Suits. She's also a UN Women political advocate for participation and leadership. That group has called for the year 2030 to be the expiration date for gender inequality. By the way, Meghan is also the founder of the TIG. That's a website for those with a hunger for food, travel, fashion, and beauty. It covers about everything but fooling around.
Pretty much.
May he rest in peace. One thing I was thinking before I forget, if the royal family wants to change, I think it's a bit too late. Okay? They had a chance with Princess Diana. They rejected her and they continued the same behavior with Meghan. Harry had told them to take advantage of Meghan being part of the royal family so they could change. They rejected again. And then they quadruple and they continue to double down on the same ideal that they have from the get-go. They laser focus to their barbaric behavior. So even if they try, let's say it's failing, despite what we are seeing happening, there are people who's fighting back. So if they fail and then all of a sudden they see the light, we cannot take them at their word because they had opportunities after opportunities to change. But instead, they're adding on, all right, what the Brexit, for instance. It's a way to disguise behind the nonsense that is happening. They are fully invested in the behavior that's going on globally and in the Middle East. Okay, was it this video or the previous video where I was saying I saw the beginning of the plan, what they were doing to Venezuela. And then Venezuela, now that Trump did everything that he did, the money of the oil was to fund Israel. Before, and I think it changed now because I think those banks in the Middle East don't want to be part of it once they know the plan. All right, so let me read this and then move on. Duchess Meghan has already survived the backwards and perilous racist institution that live like leashes of the hardworking people of UK. Their supporters undergoing financial abuse of the masses have been conditioned, brainwashed to see the royal family as better than the mass. All right, let's go to the next tweet. Oh my God, I don't want to do multiple videos. I want to all the tweet. I talk too much. Okay, 13 minutes already. All right. I'm very much into Harry and Meghan's new PR strategy of calling idiots out for being idiots. If you thought the common sense line about that dumb petition was good, wait until you read this. Okay. Someone who knows the couple tells the Mirror, quote, there is a lot of misinformation being spread about this trip, all designed to whip up a hate. The truth is, you have a couple heading down under for work while they're in town. They're going to check in on some charitable causes that they have long supported, and in the Duke's case with the Invictus game he set up. Okay, so there was a tweet that I read in one of the videos that I did maybe yesterday or a couple of days ago, where someone said something and I forgot exactly what it was about, and I was making correction, and I was like, the only thing I'm aware of is what the statement said. What was it? So this probably was out already. What date was this out? The 29th. So that was yesterday. If I remember what it was, that would make more sense. But whatever, let's move on. They could just as easily get paid and head straight back to California. It's an irrational reaction to this. Can a couple who just want to support the charitable causes close to them, God forbid they try to do any good in a world that could, frankly, use a little more Harry and Meghan and a little less snipping from royal commentators who make a living by proving hate bait for anyone willing to platform them? It said, what a way to make a living. I sort of remember a fraction of what I said. And I said when Meghan went to the Invictus in Germany, after everything was said and done, I came across tweets where she went to a charity and sat around with them and things like that. And when they go places, they do multiple things. They kill multiple birds with one stone. So they don't just go for one thing. They go for multiple things. So I think this sort of solidifies some of the things that I said in that particular video. I don't know why I did brought it up in that particular video, but I'm just making reference to what I've said. Okay, oh my God, laughing my ass off. I'm loving Harry and Meghan's PR strategy. They are not playing. All right, what is that? Okay, Australia is under real cost of living pressure. Petrol prices are rising, mortgages are increasing, and everyday Australians are struggling. In this climate, the use of taxpayer-funded resources for a private visit is a valid and serious concern. The public petition, no tax funding or official support for Harry and Meghan's private visit to Australia on change.org has been deliberately misrepresented by others, and especially by the Sussex representative. Beyond Australia. Okay. So that was written on the 27th March. Its focus is clear. It questioned taxpayers' funded support for a private visit and has gained significant public backing along with international media attention. In a recent Daily Mail article, Daily Mail, please, dates 26 March 2026, a spokesperson for the Sussex representative attempted to dismiss the petition by suggesting that those who have not signed it must support taxpayers' funding. This is not only misleading, it is a deliberate attempt to undermine legitimate public concern. Silence does not equal consent. This is a straightforward issue of public accountability, not misinformation. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are free to visit Australia. That has never been the issue. Dismissing the petition and attempting to discredit Australians for expressing their views is not debate. But in that same petition, if I remember what the thing said, there's a part in what the spokesperson said where Harry and Meghan sort of agree. Yes, let me see if I find it. Oh my God, I'm only on the second one. Okay, I had to go in the program that I edit. I know where it was, but not on my computer. All right, so there's a part here. I think in this paragraph, let's see. You could pause and read everything. Who haven't signed it, who must therefore agree with the taxpayers picking up the tab for their visit. Of course, that is another equally stupid assertion to make, but hey, why not let common sense in the way of good Sussex person? Let me pause and look for it. Okay, it was at the very beginning. It's a moot point. The trip is being funded privately. There it is. So I'm not sure what this petition hopes to achieve. Okay, they doing the thing privately. That was a part I thought I saw where he said, let me read it. It's a moot point. The trip is being funded privately, so I'm not sure what this petition hopes to achieve. Of course, if you wanted to dive into the ridiculousness of this petition as an agenda for spreading misinformation, then one could equally hypothesize that there are approximately 26.5 million Australians who haven't signed it, who must therefore agree with the taxpayers picking up the tab for their visit. Oh, I think it was that part. Then no, whatever. Where is the thing? Where was that? This is a straightforward issue of public accountability, not misinformation. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are free to visit Australia. That has never been the issue. Dismissing this petition and attempting to discredit Australians for expressing their views is not debate. It reflects a disregard for public accountability and the right to question how taxpayers' resources are used. Australians have every right to question how public resources are used. That is not hate, that is accountability. But they already told us this is a private thing. Private. Alright, the hate bait is so obvious to anyone who has a brain. Idiots on this app use the same hate to generate engagement. There is a section of deranged people who has an insatiable lust for hate, and there's enough losers to take advantage of that for their content. Yeah, they thrive on the hate thing. Okay, I need to finish. This is my third tweet. Oh my god. I'm trying not to create too many things. All right, so there's this here. I think there's a music. Yeah. She outclasses them all just by the way she carries herself. Disclaimer: no copycat allowed. Cause Meghan Sussex is a walking mood board, effortlessly styled and visually inspired without even trying. All right, 16 seconds. Let me go through it really quickly. It's a video. I don't want to get flagged for it. All right, it's playing again. Alright, so that, one comment. Meghan makes simply getting into a car look elegant. What about the door closed? What did they say? Because I saw another tweet that was making reference to that as well. How about the car door? Next tweet, let's pause this. Prince Harry and Meghan will slay in Australia again, and there's not a damn thing the royal family and the UK media can do about it. Alright, so there's that. There they are here, October 2018. Look at Harry's face. Alright, so there's that. You know what just crossed my mind? When Harry was a little boy, where the royal family, including Princess Diana, who was holding Harry, were at the balcony and everybody was going in, and then Princess Diana picked up Harry and Harry waved to the people and the crowd go crazy, and then the royal family turned back as like, what happened? What happened? It was just Harry saying hi. Okay, I pray so. There's the heart here. I can't wait to see what they wear. Me too. Next tweet. I don't duplicate. Okay, so there's this. So okay, so there's a music. 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Trashy Royal Family should be grateful Harry and Meghan's trip to Australia shifted attention away from the mess they're dealing with. Australia clearly has their panties in a bunch, and we all know exactly Prince Harry and Princess Meghan simply do the job better. Cry harder. Alright, so let me just go through it really quickly. Alright, so that's that. Can we? Alright, so there's the music. I will be getting flagged, so let me just go through it like that. So I don't get flagged. That's nice. There was a guy who was trying to give Harry and Meghan a bouquet of flowers. He went through so much traffic and everything to get her the flower. All right, they were stunned that despite all they tried to do to destroy Meghan and Harry, the world adores them. That is what they hate the most. I've been watching this play out, hate pieces after hate piece, all rooted in jealousy. The royal family needs to stay quiet. They're in no position to criticize anyone doing the job better than them, especially with all the dirt they have. Harry and Meghan are doing them a favor. Totally agree, but of course, they won't ever stop. Yeah, that's the thing. They want people to accept their stupidity, their barbaric behavior, and clap for them. That's the thing they're throwing down people's throat. Their stupid behavior. They want people to accept it. The arrogance is they know the media will ultimately cover them mainly in the lag-hanging fruit. Like Andy will be protected as he is not leaving. Anyone more popular, they loathe, no control over like Harry and Meghan. All right, let's go to the next tweet. Still talking about Aussie. Okay, there's that. Okay. Imagine being so threatened by a couple who actually work, while the Welleses rely on British taxpayers to fund their royal appearances. Harry and Meghan are returning to Australia on their own dime. Remember, 2018, 76 engagement in 16 days. Oh my God, I'll be exhausted. A workload that left the rest of the family stunned, aka jealous. You don't need a crown to connect, you just need to be genuine. The media hate pieces only prove how terrified the monarchy is of being outshone again. Abolish it already. So there's all of the hashtags. Let's see. Let me just go through it like that. Was it the royal tour continue? Alright, so that's that. Okay, you do realize if the monarchy is abolished, they lose their title, right? I mean, they could abolish it right now. I don't think Harry and Meghan care about that. So there's that. Abolish the monarchy. Mark you got Hopeless right off. Who the hell? Okay, let's black this. That's so true. Let's not waste time. Let's go to the next tweet. Still talking about Australia. When they cannot argue with you, I mean, the title is just a word. Just a word. But when they cannot really argue with you, they start saying their stupidity. All right, next tweet. Australia said no to hosting Commonwealth Games when they were asked, but they are putting in a bid to be in the running to host Prince Harry's Invictus Game. Well done, Australia. All right, so there's that. Is talking about Australia wants to host it again. Okay, gosh, yes, I forgot about that. Another slap in the face for the unroyal and their stupid supporters. No wonder Bully Boy, wants to steal IG, but that will never happen. I mean, the moment he gets it, I mean, I guess only the people who work around him will be interesting in making the thing work. But if it's up to William, that thing is done. He didn't even want that to happen. Remember, Harry went to the board first. Because if he had gone to William first, this is what I believe could have happened. If Harry had gone to William and shared his idea of the Invictus with William, William will tell him no, in my humble opinion, and then go to the board and pitch that same idea, make it his. That's what I think he would have done. Still the idea from Harry.
First step would be pitching the Royal Foundation board, which oversaw my charitable projects and Willie's and Kate's. It was our foundation, so I told myself, no problem. Also, the calendar was on my side. This was early summer 2013. Willie and Kate, weeks from having their first child, were going to be out of commission for a while. The foundation, therefore, didn't have any projects in the pipeline. Its roughly £7 million was just sitting there, doing nothing. And if these international warrior games worked, they'd enhance the foundation's profile, which would energize donors and replenish the foundation's accounts many times over. There'd be that much more to go around when Willie and Kate came back full-time, so I was feeling supremely confident in the days leading up to my pitch. But when the actual day came, not so much. I realized how badly I wanted this for the soldiers and their families, and if I'm being honest, for myself. And this sudden attack of nerves kept me from being at my best. Still, I got through it, and the board said yes. Thrilled, I reached out to Willie, expecting him to be thrilled as well. He was sorely irritated. He wished I'd run all this by him first. My assumption, I said, was that other people had done so. He complained that I'd be using up all the funds in the Royal Foundation. That's absurd, I spluttered. I was told only a £500,000 grant would be needed to get the games going, a fraction of the Foundation's money. Besides, it was coming from the Endeavour Fund, an arm of the Foundation I'd created specifically for veterans' recovery. The rest would come from donors and sponsors. What was going on here, I wondered. Then I realized, my God, sibling rivalry. I put a hand over my eyes. Had we not got past this yet? The whole heir versus spare thing? Wasn't it a bit late in the day for that tired childhood dynamic? But even if it wasn't, even if Willie insisted on being competitive, on turning our brotherhood into some kind of private Olympiad, hadn't he built up an insurmountable lead? He was married, with a baby on the way, while I was eating takeaway alone over the sink. Pa's sink. I still lived with Pa. Game over, man. You win.
But Harry's too smart. He went straight to the board. And the board agreed. All right. Not quite state. Did I finish with it? Yes, I did. The state of Victoria successfully bid to host the 2026 Commonwealth Games in April 2022, but pulled out of hosting in July 2023 due to projected cost blowout. Hosting had become more than twice the estimated economic benefit. Okay. So if that's the case, why do they want to host Invictus? The thing is that people are rejecting the institution. Not too many. If they're spending money, they have to be able to make a profit. So if they see they're gonna lose, they're gonna spend all that money to get the thing ready, and people are not showing up, where will they make the money back? All right. Thanks for the correction. Didn't know they had bid to host, then pull out. That's even worse. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's even worse. Right. Apparently, Scotland is set to host the scaled back, lighter and leaner version of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow from July 23 to August 2nd, 2026. Yeah, and that's something else they're gonna do. What was the thing? It's two things I remember they were gonna do. And then they're removing it. Yeah, they cut some stuff out. All right. You see what's on the thing here. Can they do the 2027, please? Am I being selfish? I'm so sorry, my UK veterans and family, for suggesting. All right. The thing is that I think because of the COVID, they had to cancel some of that. And this is why we had the Netherlands and Germany back to back, because some of them were canceled and then they did the back to back. But it's every 2 years. Let me look it up. Yeah, it's every 2 years. I asked Google, is the Invictus Game is every 2 years? Yes, the Invictus Games are held on average every 2 years to showcase the rehabilitation of wounded, injured, and sick service personnel. Okay, you could pause and read. But the reason we had the back-to-back Netherlands and Germany back-to-back, I think it was because of the COVID. Some stuff were canceled, and they something like that. You could look it up. So this is the next tweet. When we empower girls hungry for education, we cultivate women who are emboldened to affect change within their communities and globally. If that is our dream for them, then the promise of it must begin with us. Period, Megan. All right, so there's no comment. Let's move on. I need to hurry up. 5:40. What did I just do? All right, Sussexes Worth. Let's see here. There was no comment on the last one. Okay. This is a rough, very low ball estimate of a few of the Sussexes' non-earnings since 2021. Harry spare 40 million, Harry and Meghan Netflix 120 million, Meghan Spotify 20 million, Meghan as ever gem only 26 million. He put gems only 26 million. Meghan the bench advance 695,000. That's $206.7 million in 5 years. They are not broke. They won't call. All right. So she retweeted that. What was this about? They need to stop with the games. They can't care less about Harry and Meghan's finances. What they really mean is they want them back because they realize that none of the other boring members of that family can replicate their star power. Oh well, too late. All right, what is this here? Harry and Meghan will crash and burn unless the royal act now, says expert. When was that? March 27, 2026. You could pause and read. This is just BS. Harry and Meghan are doing fine. If they were in the UK and they're doing that, they would have sabotaged them. This is what's good with the choice that William picked for Harry, all out. Because if it was half in and half out, the royal family will want to know everything that Harry and Meghan will be doing. So they could pretend that, oh, when you do this, we're going to be doing that, so you can do it in that day. Or they undermine their work every possible way. So this is why it's good, the all out. Okay? Look what they were doing when Meghan was, when they know Meghan was dating Harry. How they tried to sabotage Suit. They were trying to change, get into the script, this cannot. What the hell? Who the hell they are? Go look it up. They tried to change the script of the TV show because Meghan is dating Harry. What the hell is this? Oh God, they're so disgusting. Every time you think about things that they've done, and beyond this, various court cases they have won, from which I'm sure they have got a substantial amount. Also from 2021, Harry is part of Better Up, so he'll be getting paid by them. They also have some hefty investment portfolios that were recommended by their friend, the brilliant Melody Hobson, CEO and President Chairman of the Board of Ariel Investment. Yep, both of them have mentioned they have investment. Anyway, you look at them, they are well off and don't have money worries. Just look at the amount of money Harry donated in 2025. Travelers worth billion. I respond to that. 3 trillion. Okay, but it's a not-for-profit sustainable tourism coalition, worth stating it's worth though. Okay, on top of that, Meghan had her own millions before the wedding. Harry inherited pounds from his mom. Meghan has invested in different number of companies. Harry is involved with a number of companies as founder or CEO. All right, Meghan still receives suit royalty. We don't know what else. All right, their real wealth comes from private investment that we don't know about. I'm sure they have invested millions, and so that money will grow exponentially without them having to do anything. They are multimillionaire and will never go broke because they're smart with their money. All right, next tweet. All right, what is this about? A TikTok video. Did I play that? Okay, it's 3 minutes and 40 something seconds. There's no caption, so let's listen. A squaddy put that. It came under my timeline.
This person made this comment because it brings up another thing that I've noticed that the haters of Meghan and gang stalkers always do. Meghan is not allowed to exist on her own. Meghan has no relation to her sister-in-law, yet people continuously bring her up. And it's almost like, now there's a sect, a subsect of a certain religion, right? And they have a thing that they do. They, if they've sinned, right? In order to absolve themselves of their sins, they've decided that they can put it into a chicken and they can swing the chicken around their heads and then that transfers the sin to the chicken and then they're all good. You know, with respect to the royal family, and again, you know, Meghan, she's married into it, but her and Harry were like, this is horrible, we're leaving. It's been 6 years. It's been over 6 years. They have no relation to those people. They don't talk about them. They're living their lives, you know, but the royal family, because there's so much rot there, there's so much yuck, you know, you've got your PDF file, you've got a whole bunch of nonsense, you know, they need Meghan to be their chicken, you know, and so that's why they create this dichotomy. Meghan is not allowed to exist on her own. You can't even talk about her. you can't talk about the hate she gets without, I'm not even going to call them fans of the sister-in-law, because these people aren't fans of the sister-in-law. The sister-in-law, there's nothing threatening about her. She's extremely average. And that's why people pretend to be fans of her, and they say, well, no, she's great because she's non-threatening. And then they bully Meghan because Meghan makes the sister-in-law look bad every single day.
Without
she's
even trying, though.
A beautiful, happy, I won't say articulate, sounds racist, but she's a highly intelligent person who does things. She's amazing, you know? And the sister-in-law is just, you know? And so because Meghan makes people uncomfortable, especially white British female people, I've noticed, they pretend that there's this competition or that there's this war or there's this issue. Meghan couldn't care less about her sister-in-law. She's happy to be living in LA away from all of this. But they have to pretend that there is a rivalry or that there is this, but it's completely one-sided. And I have seen this. I have seen this play out over and over and over. Whenever there's a group of people gang stalking, they're always kind of doing it in the service of someone else. You know, they're flying monkeys for a person that makes them feel okay, that doesn't threaten them in any way. And that's kind of what's happening here. You know, but Meghan doesn't care. And we don't care. You know, we don't pay attention to her sister-in-law because there's nothing to pay attention to. It's highly boring. The most interesting the sister-in-law ever was when she was missing for 6 months. You know, and that should tell you everything you need to know about the sister-in-law. I'm so glad this person made this comment because
when she was missing for 6 months. But you know what I get from this video here? Whatever the British media was trying to ingrain or make American people who probably didn't give a shit about Meghan or Harry, okay, make them come out and look for themselves. What the hell are the British royal family or the British papers are talking about? Once they look for themselves, they're speaking out. I don't know who she is, okay? It came under my timeline, and I thought I'd share it with you. So I don't think maybe she is, I do not know. But at least they're sharing their mind, their perspective, their views on how they see Meghan. But I don't think she would have been one of those people who follow Meghan. So whatever the media is trying to do, I guess they still didn't learn what they tried to do in the UK. Because this is what got me out. I didn't give a F about Meghan or Harry. But the headline that were popping up made me look twice. I was aware of her, was happy, she married that high society, whatever nonsense that was in my head, whatever BS the royal family made me believe. Okay, I was one of those, thought they were good people. But when I looked into things and I saw what was happening, I was like, what the F? So probably many of these people who's creating videos like this probably were one of people who thought of me the same way I did. So the British royal family, the papers still haven't learned. It's getting people to be more on Harry and Meghan's side once they take the time and look for themselves. That's what I see from her. All right. So this is the response here. Well said. I love this woman's hair. The sister-in-law makes the sister-in-law look bad every day. She needs help from nobody in that department. The most interesting thing is when she went missing for real. They got me too. I used to talk about it, thinking of the children in that aspect. Meghan is the standard they cannot achieve. All right, so that is it.
This person made this comment because
while she was talking, I looked for a prayer, and the prayer that I searched for is prayer for protection. Dear Father, you are like a wind that shelters my children, strong with protection, soft with grace. You are like a shield that encircles them each day. They run free, and you are with them as they adventure. You are like a crown placed upon their heads, a symbol of sonship. of belonging of their adoption into your family. Lord, I place them into your great care and declare that they are yours. Amen. All right, so that is it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. There's another video. I might do it now because otherwise I will not come back to it. So the next tweet that I'm going to do is this. We're going to start with that, as ever. Okay, thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.